There is no secret that people have not been happy with Leon Edwards and honestly, just his personality in general. And today we are going to be continuing the reaction train that we've been doing on the channel the last few days and reacting to this video by GeeKay. Leon Edwards is arrogant and annoying. I have not watched this video yet. This popped up in my feed and I was like, you know what? There's not a ton to talk about with MMA right now. Why not do another reaction video? So this is what we're going to be diving into because I'm somebody who was, I wouldn't call myself a fan of Leon Edwards, but I always enjoyed watching him fight, and he actually has been rubbing me the wrong way a little bit. So I'm interested in this video over here, especially someone like at the title calling it out like that. We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's react to this video together. I am excited. And it's not playing.
I'm just going to come out and say it. There's something about Leon Edwards that I find to be extremely annoying. I understand that he's a fighter and that alone deserves a level of respect, but the way he thinks, views himself, and operates just really gets on my nerves.
And it's not just him. It's not just him. It's completely understandable. And honestly, I'm kind of feeling the same way. All the respect in the world for him to be a fighter. He will likely be more successful than I ever will be and do something that is arguably more respectable than a lot of people do as well. So all of the respect in the world for what he does. It's just his attitude could use some fixing.
Because even though he tends to present himself as a reserved and humble guy, he has an underlying air of arrogance about him that is very irritating. Watching him get humbled by Sean Brady over the weekend was one of the most satisfying sights to come out of the UFC in recent memory. And I personally felt vindicated when Brady confirmed Leon's snooty attitude.
Yeah, and Brady was going off about Leon. It's like, I think he was just calling him salty over and over again. It's not the first time you've heard something like that from somebody who fought Leon Edwards.
For the fight.
He said something, he was asking me about my height, and I was like, he was like, how tall are you, 5'8", 5'9"? Like, he was being a kid. And I was like, I'm 5'9", and I was like, what are you, 6'2"? I was like, you got those big shoes on, like, just making a joke of it, and then we faced.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when Leon does this type of stuff, you know it's not, like, playful, and you know it's not just for the sake of, like, trash talk. It seems like he's actually just looking down on people. That's what it comes across to be.
Off for legit 5 seconds, walked off. I don't know if it's his manager, his brother, like, and him were like, oh, this is super awkward. And me and my team looked at him like, yo, you're in London, like, this is your fight week, like, you're about having to do some media. Like, I'm respectful. Like, GSP's my favorite fighter, always respected guys, but when you're an ass like that, like, don't, like, I can give it right back. So
yeah, and that's what Sean Brady did, and then Sean Brady ended up destroying him, humiliating him. Like, that was actually a really solid performance by Sean Brady, honestly. Yeah, this isn't the first time we've heard people talk about Leon like this, right?
Personally, Leon, him and his whole team, and that's how I feel about the whole situation.
And to be honest with you, I kind of like that about what Brady and Pfeiffer and them do. I kind of like that. Like, it's tough because I've been having a battle with my faith my entire life where it's like, okay, you need to give people the benefit of the doubt. You need to forgive people. You can't hold grudges against people. But I kind of like where it's like Pfeiffer as well. He's like, all these people talking crap at me. I hope they get a bus and the bus drives off the cliff. Like, it's refreshing to hear.
This out of context may seem like Sean Brady is being a sensitive short king over a harmless joke, but it wasn't what was said, but rather how and why. And having watched Edwards for a while now, it was clear to me that it was his attitude that got on Sean's nerves and not the actual words. Because while he made sure to say that he was fully focused on Brady all throughout fight week, his demeanor was of somebody that felt like the result of the fight was a foregone conclusion. And
it's almost like he didn't think that Sean Brady even like deserved to be in the octagon with him. He was just looking to get back at Belal. It looked like he was going over him and just like waiting for the title shot. And it's crazy with that attitude after the 9 fights in a row type thing that he always did. Like, the first thing he did when he got the belt was like say that people had to wait.
And that he was too good to be there, and that he was doing everybody a favor by taking this fight on short notice.
Who cares? You know what I mean? It's not, like I said, it's not about showing this fight for me. It's about me, right? It's me going out there and putting my right wrongs and just perform to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, being completely dismissive of Sean Brady.
I mean, there's nobody else. There's been no really movement in the welterweight division. You know what I mean? Everyone ain't fighting each other or having fought, or there's not much going on in the division. So I feel like a win over Sean, a good win, just put me right back.
Yeah, again, like I said, he's just completely looking over Sean Brady. He just wants to beat Sean Brady. And he wants to get to fight Belal Muhammad again. Like, I love the fact that Belal is looking at him and going, ha, you have to wait 9 months, Leon. Sorry, guys, I had to do a quick pause on the video over there. It might be a little bit rewound. Just sorry about that.
I left off.
I understand that the fight was taking place in London, therefore Leon probably felt like he was the reason why everyone was watching, and Sean Brady was just a placeholder opponent that could have been anyone else.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like even just looking away from him the way he does, I don't know. Like it just rubs people off the wrong way, and he's not like. He has no charisma when he's doing it either, and you know it's not for the cameras.
In the division, but the reality is his first comeback fight after losing his title was a fight night, and that wasn't on Sean Brady, it was on him. Because even though he likes to pretend like he's this exciting and dynamic striker that everyone is just dying to watch, Leon Edwards is boring.
The Sean Strickland problem, eh? Except to be honest with you, he doesn't do it as bad as Sean does. Like, we're gonna go to war for you guys. We're gonna bleed for you guys.
In and out of the octagon. And before he knocked out Kamaru Usman with a head kick to win the title, he was mostly known for getting pieced up by Jorge Masvidal backstage.
Ooh, that's a good point, actually. Oh, yeah, and Nate slapping him and pointing at him the way he did. Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. I never thought of that.
And for almost getting finished by 36-year-old Nate Diaz, who looked like he was hotboxing and doing shots in his car 10 minutes before entering the octagon. And the Usman fight led to him taking on an identity that he simply could never live up to, because landing one head kick does not turn a flawed striker who has trouble with being pressured into prime Mirko Krokop.
He really seemed like that, though. And I would say he had the majority of us fooled. Like, I thought that Leon Edwards was like an insanely complete fighter. I thought he was amazing because of the way that he ended up beating Usman. He ended up topping Usman, and then he's exactly right what he's saying. Like, because he turned into the headshot dead guy. Yeah, that's me, Leon Edwards, you know?
Which was a memo that Leon clearly missed, because once that title was around his waist, he was acting like he had the Midas touch. Like he was some kind of a money fight for anyone in the UFC.
Headshot Daddy wants to fight Islam Makhachev, and Belal has to wait. And that was amazing. The fact that what he did to Belal after what was done to him, crazy.
Completely dismissing Belal Muhammad, even though he was the clear #1 contender. And the backup fighter for his match against Colby Covington at UFC 296.
Nah, there for other options, you know. I don't feel like Belal should be next. You know, I've done it before. I've run like 10 fights in a row, didn't get a title shot. So what makes him different?
I don't know what to say, but besides, I can't believe that came out of his mouth. I don't know what else to say to that.
You will about Belal, but you can't deny that he took the hardest road to the title possible, and even though he doesn't vocalize it, he's not delusional as to why that is.
Yeah, harder than Leon Edwards, and yeah, that's a good point. And I think that Belal Muhammad gets way too much hate, man. He's a pretty real guy.
Understands that the UFC didn't want to see him as champion because he's not marketable, and instead of whining about it, he simply grinded until it became awkward not to give him a shot.
And I love that. I love that. That's the exact way to do it, and that's what makes us respect, or I mean, at least me respect Belal Muhammad and the grind that he actually went on. It's a very respectable way to go about things, but I think people like Leon act so entitled.
Leon, being in the same boat for a long time, should have understood where he was coming from, especially since their first fight ended with a brutal eye poke that almost led to the end of Belal's career. Anybody with an ounce of morals and empathy in that position would have felt like they owed the guy they almost blinded a second chance.
Yeah, not only that, it's just the fact that Belal Muhammad deserved a title shot in general, just like Leon Edwards. How could you have what was done for you, like making you wait all of this time, fighter after fighter, saying yes after and saying yes over and over again? You turn around and you do the same thing that happened to you to Belal Muhammad.
But instead, once he got his hands on the title, he acted like he was now a part of the cool kids club, and losers like Belal didn't deserve a fight against him.
That's a really good way to put it. That's a really, really good way to put it. He just looked down on people like Belal Muhammad. He looked down on people like Sean Brady. You can just tell, like, the way that he speaks about him, the arrogance that he walks with.
Regardless of whether or not they were objectively the most deserving challenger. It was infuriating to watch because not only was it unfair, this guy wasn't any more marketable than Belal, and yet here he was acting like he was the second coming of Conor McGregor.
And to be honest with you, Belal just... Sorry, I just hit the next frame. I would argue that Belal would be more of a draw than Leon. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Please comment down below if you disagree with that.
Not the three-piece and a soda meme that he was the year prior.
When you look at, you know, his path to the title and the way he did it, it's very similar to mine, right? He had to go the long road. Nobody was respecting him. Nobody gave him a shot. And then I took a fight on short notice against him. And he committed the foul. He injured me. And the fight got stopped because of that. So, you know, there was a lot of... On my end, it was like my first main event. This is supposed to be my spot, my time to shine, this, and this. And it was like taken from me by him. And
That's
he
true.
wouldn't give me another shot. And then he tried to just play it off like, oh, I would have won anyway. I would have did this anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like, look what happened when they actually met up with each other. Dude, I understand like Belal Muhammad's a vastly improved fighter since then, but come on.
And then when you put that narrative out there, fans are just like, oh, well, he's probably right. So,
Yeah, that's true, actually. There's a lot of NPCs in the entire world, and they will just believe whatever the champion says or believe whatever the winner's saying. Like, all you have to do is win, like, one fight, one highlight reel, and they'll just all of a sudden people be bowing towards you.
from there on out, I just had it in the back of my mind. I had that bad taste in the back of my head this whole time that, man, I want to feel what would have happened. I want to see what would have happened. And then I'm dominating all these guys, winning all these guys, and then they're still disrespecting my streak. Him, his coach, his team, they're still saying, oh, he's not next. We need somebody else. We need somebody.
And they're not just disrespecting it. Like, I don't know what word's proper for it, but it's like beyond disrespect, man. It's like he was just nothing to them.
Somebody else. We need somebody else. So the disrespect that he had, he felt it. He started giving it to me. So that's what pissed me off. That's what's pushing me to hate the guy. That's what's making me excited to make him bleed, to make him break.
Yeah, and then like Leon's face, man. Like, dude, Leon has so much quit in him. It's insane. Sorry. It's just funny. Him getting dunked on his head, too.
Belal did break him and had him giving the camera his famous baby deer in the headlights look. But exciting wouldn't be the word that I'd use. To me, it was extremely satisfying to see somebody so full of themselves look like they've seen a ghost when they realize that trying to paint your opponent as a joke
Yeah, it's crazy to me how Leon had so many, such a majority of the MMA community fooled, and like that he was this like insanely complete fighter. I don't know why, but maybe because he was just winning, he was looking good. He did to Usman what he did, but like, no, you have to question, like, is Usman really that good? Was Usman past his prime already? We don't know.
Doesn't translate into reality like the law of attraction. Just like calling yourself Rocky doesn't magically give you heart. And having a title doesn't turn you into a pay-per-view superstar, hence the fight night against Sean Brady. And for what it's worth, as much as Belal hates Leon, he showed a lot more solidarity in the lead up to Leon's third fight against Usman, rooting for him simply because he empathized with how he was being looked over.
Honestly,
I don't know any. I was about to say I don't know much about that, but I guess we'll hear it.
yeah, I'm hoping Leon wins this fight too. You know, Usman's already looking past him, talking about he wants to fight Yuri.
Wow. I follow a lot of MMA media, but I must have missed that one. That's actually good on Belal, man. Like I said, man, Belal gets way too much hate. Way too much hate. I understand, like, he's obviously not the most exciting fighter, obviously, and I've never really, like, particularly gotten too excited for a Belal Muhammad fight. It's like key matchups here and there that I'm okay to watch, but as a person, he seems all right. He seems like a decent, respectable guy.
And Glover already. When guys start thinking about what's next before the guy that's in front of them, I hope that Leon ruins those plans.
What bothers me the most about Leon is that technically he should be likable because he went from being looked over time and time again all the way to winning the title, which on paper constitutes a great comeback story.
That's actually a really good point. That's actually a really, really good point. This whole video is structured really well, guys. I have never come across this channel personally, and I'm definitely going to be subscribing. By the way, check out the links in the pinned comment description down below to go follow the original content creator.
But he's so desperate to be a headliner that he doesn't even try to hide the fact that he looks down on the fighters that are in the same exact position as he was for the majority of his career. It's like he's disgusted that he even has to associate with them. Just
That's again another good way to put it. Like, he was like, did not want anything to do with Sean Brady. It was like Sean Brady having a standoff with him, which is a disgrace to Leon Edwards' career.
look at his interpretation of his loss to Belal.
Like I said, I'm a worse day. He won one round over me to get a decision, and that's it, you know. I'm no longer focused on that fight, and I'll get it back for sure.
When you see him with the belt now, what do you feel?
Every time I see him like, on Twitter, I have to say, like, why? Because he said to me, if he lost, he would have retired. I was like, oh mate, I wish this guy fucking retired because he's annoying. You know, it's like, it doesn't look right on him, the belt. You know what I mean? It just look like,
Sean Brady's right. Salty is for sure. But how could you get dummied and ragdolled the way that you did and still look at Belal Muhammad and go, it just doesn't look right, like this weirdo? How did this happen? It was a belt. It was 5 a.m.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
You can tell, like, even just the look in his eyes, man. You can absolutely tell how arrogant he is.
How dismissive he acts and what he's actually focusing on. It's not the skills, but rather how ridiculous Belal now looks with the belt. And considering that their numbers will probably be very similar had they fought the same opponents, who is he to gatekeep who's a good representative and who isn't? Where is this arrogance coming from?
It must have come from the headshot dead thing. It must have come. Like, was it always that? Or did we all just miss it because we weren't paying like too much attention to Leon Edwards. Where did it spawn from? I'm really enjoying this video, guys. I'm definitely going to be watching more.
UFC never wanted him in the title picture either. I understand if this type of rhetoric was coming from a legitimate pay-per-view star, but it's Leon Edwards, the guy that was begging Jorge Masvidal to get in the octagon with him after getting punched in the face because he wanted attention, and got brushed off like a gnat for his efforts because nobody cared.
Got the Walter White syndrome. Just taking on the traits of other people after you surpass them.
At least Belal had enough dignity to never resort to doing that. Leon has one of the weakest characters I've ever seen from a fighter and takes absolutely no pride in beating the best of his division.
Yeah, not only that, like a weak mind within like the actual octagon, somebody who has been shown to have absolutely no grit, absolutely no heart, and somehow he made his way to champion. Well, to be honest with you, I don't want to say it was a fluke, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it was unlikely that that was going to happen. Usman was kind of like, you know, bullying him in the octagon. The second fight, Usman looked very out of his prime, very, very out of his prime, so maybe it was something to do with that.
Instead daydreaming about fitting in with the popular crowd, and let's face it, if he had free reign to do what he really wants, his first title defense would have came against KSI. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it.
And yeah, guys, please go like this video because it was a really, really good video. I'm definitely going to be checking out more from the creator, and the links will be in the description down below. GeeKay, subscribing right now. It's incredible. I saw this video on my homepage, had to watch it. You know what? Why not make another reaction video? We've been doing like a reaction content this week. And recently, we also made a reaction video to the actual rise of the MMA guru. You can check it out right here. I would love to have you over there. Thank you so much for being here and watching, everybody. Take care.